How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massa Beer Reviews back to get another review. A little bit of Pariah up in this piece in the form of their only 90s kids will get this IPA. Yeah, as you can see, the labeling just plucking at the heartstrings of those 90 kids. I'm on the cusp of all of this. Some of the stuff kind of resonates for me. It says Fresh Air. I assume that's Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. You got a little, Furbies, sure. Game Boys, obviously, a little Ninja Turtles, Rollerblades, all that kind of stuff. But some of the stuff like Tamagotchis and N64, I was more of a PlayStation guy. Some of the stuff just kind of a little bit, because, in the 90s, that's when I went from, what was I? Jeez. Math is hard. I was like 14 in 1990, so you do the math. So it's kind of right around there. It was hitting me, so I get some of it, but I dig the cans. They kind of been really kind of hammering home that kind of nostalgic thing. Whoever owns the brewery is probably, I'm guessing, around like 38 years old. So they're really kind of hammering home that kind of that date, and that's kind of like your modern beer drinker. I think that's where a lot of the age kind of lies, that 30 to 40 age range. As far as what else it says on here, it is 8.2% Citron Apollo hopped IPA. Let's dive in. Yeah. Two Pariah beers in one night. I did a review of their coffee beer in the same session tonight, and that was quite nice. These will probably both go up at the same time. But yeah, that be the haze, baby. I mean, she's got that rich kind of orange glow to her, a little bit darker than what you'd expect from a traditional New England style hazy, which I assume is what they're going for. Index finger, just off white head, infinite creaminess. Pretty tight, compact bubbles. And like labelized, like I said, I dig it. So yeah, she's got that haze pumping. Let's see if we get a nose. Yeah, I mean, it is really just like overripened fruit juice, but then there's this kind of nice soft green thing. It's very similar to what I've been getting a lot on the nose as of late with a lot of different breweries. So, tropical fruit medley, green floating right above it. Sweet, probably going to skew a little bit sweeter than bitter in the taste. Done and done. Let's dive in. Cheers. I mean, it follows suit almost exactly to a T. Volume's a little bit lower than what I thought it would be. Again, tropical fruit leaning, fruit medley. Nice mouthfeel, not thick, not heavy, not dense, but it's not light, it's not thin. That green, while not generic, is not robust. There is this cool kind of melon thing kind of coming to a head now that I took a sip, and it's kind of just sitting on my tongue, and all those other flavors are kind of dissipating. That melon is really shining, so that's a cool aspect of it. It feels like a heavy beer. I know sometimes I say that, and people are probably like, what the fuck are you talking about? It just feels like a dense, heavy beer. And that's pretty much it. It's sweet, but not overly sweet. I was guessing it was going to be sweeter than this based off of the nose, but it didn't get there. It's got this cool kind of melon thing that's kind of really starting to kind of show its head and rear its head and kind of reach out from that kind of medley of fruitiness. And that green portion of the show builds a little bit more with each sip. So this is kind of one of those beers where each sip, I think, gets a little bit better and better as you go along, which is kind of a cool trick, to be perfectly honest with you. Yeah, it's tasty, it's nice, I dig it. I like the kind of back and forth between that melon and that bittering that keeps on growing, and it's probably the most redeemable quality of the beer, and it's just tasty. It's like, it's weird because there's been some really killer hazies I've had from Pariah. Smilex comes to mind, a couple other ones. And this one's quite nice. It's just not really up there with those other ones for me, but I don't think anybody would really kind of shove their nose up at this, especially if you're into the kind of hazy beers. So let's talk about that. Is this one of the better double IPAs that I've had as of late? It's in the conversation without a doubt, but it's just not up towards the top, at least for me. Value and availability. Prices are a little bit higher, but they're also in San Diego area. So the prices tend to be a little bit higher, so they're probably more like market value out there. And leave you with, if you like what we like this beer, if you just like new school haze, I'm not afraid of a little bit of bittering, and again, you like new school haze or 90s pop culture references, then this will do you proper. Listen, it's a well-made New England style hazy with a little bit of bittering going on. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever, but just lacks a little bit of a kind of something for me. And well, not a bad beer by any stretch of imagination. I've had better ones from Pariah in and of itself. So there you go. Another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers. If you want to check me out doing the social media stuff, Beer Massive. If you want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully enjoying a little Pariah jam right now, and hopefully see you next time. Cheers.